Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Jesse, also known as Sublime, and today we are playing some PokerStars VR. Specifically, we are playing some multi-tables. If you guys don't know what multi-tables are, it's basically a big tournament where there could be up to as many people as possibly could fit. I don't think the limit of the multi-tables have ever been hit before. So in this tournament, I believe there's about 221 people, so that means 21 people will be in the bubble, and in the bubble means in the money. Sadly, we didn't make it to that point, but we made it pretty far. We were only 4 spots out, so I'm gonna give you guys the whole journey of how I got to that point, my ups and my downs. And yeah, so we get dealt right away queen ace of clubs. The flop comes out 2-3 ace, so I'm thinking in my back of my head maybe somebody has a 4-5, but regardless, I put 50 on the table just trying to get some hands out. And then on a turn, another 2 shows up, so this guy bet 30. It was smaller than my original bet, so I ended up throwing 50 and more, double raised it, and then the 7 of diamonds comes out. I end up taking that hand. I was just, when I checked it out at the end, I was more scared about somebody having a 2 or somebody having a 4 or 5, and I really didn't want to be in that position, so I ended up just taking that pot home, and we got our chip stack up pretty early into the tournament, which is good with what the blinds are. It gives us a lot of power on the tables. We end up getting a jack king here. We're the big blind. We have about 1600 chips at the moment, and a jack 7-4 comes out. Me not wanting this pot to go anywhere, I throw out 75, and I'm trying to get as many cards off the table as I can. Anybody who has a small little pair, anybody who has, maybe an ace queen, I want those cards off the table. So what I do is I throw out a small little bet of 75 just so I can either induce people who are strong and hope that no higher cards come out, or get people to fold and make my odds a little bit better. So the guy did end up raising to 175. I end up calling him. I have the best pair on the board right now, so I didn't see a reason for me not to call. So another 4 comes out, so I'm thinking, shit, he might have a 3 of a kind. He ends up going all in. I said, I'm thinking about it. He might have had a 4, might have had a 2 pair, jack 7. He ends up showing his cards, and he had a jack 10, so I would have beat him, but for what he had, I just couldn't, I couldn't call that. So this is right off to the next hand now, where we got king 8 suited. I'm waiting for my turn to come in. I'm not really in position anywhere. I'm small blind, so everybody's throwing their chips in. I'm like, oh, okay, this might be a pot I can play a little bit, hoping for, spades to come out. So I end up calling just the 15. The big blind was 30, so the cards come out 3, 5, 8. I top pair. I match top pair. I throw out a bet for 100, which for how many chips other people had in this pot was a lot for them. So it ends up getting the smaller guys out of there. And in reality, everybody folded. It was a board that had many outs. So I could have had it like a 4, 6, and I needed a 7. But I ended up just showing I had an 8 to people. The next hand we get dealt to jiggity jiggities. Not a hand I like to play. So I just throw it in like that. I'm playing it just like a normal hand. Jacks look good, but they're very deceiving. Somebody could have a king in their hand and they automatically beat you if a king pops up on the board. There's many over pairs, plus you see a lot of the times that jacks just aren't great. The board comes out 2, 6, 10. I still have the top pair on the board. Unless somebody has a 2 pair, I don't think I get beat here. Some guy throws out a bet of 50, who's a big blind. Since I have top pair at the moment, I throw out... How much should I throw out again? I raised it to 200, so I'm betting 150 more. Just trying to get hands off the table again, trying to get my odds to be better. The original better ends up folding, and I end up taking the pot, and I show him that I got the jiggities. Our next hand up, we got ace 5 offsuit. And we're just kind of waiting around for everybody to call, fold. This is one thing I like about the multi-table tournaments, is that you can really kind of hone in on how your style of play is. And you can really work on your skills on multi-tables, and I've definitely become a better poker player because of being able to join tournaments more often than just hitting up the casinos. So I'm bullshitting with the guys on the table here, and the flop was king 5-6. I have third pair on the board. And now there's another king, so I've just been checking it the whole time. I've third pair on the board. We end up taking that down with the pair of fives, so that was nice. Next hand up, we get the queens. I always love seeing the queens. It's the third best hand you can have pre-flop. And we're not going down easily here. Everybody seems to be folding, so I throw out a bet of 200 extra. And yeah, now we're heads up. The flop comes out 7-6-7. I don't want that to go anywhere. I'm hoping he doesn't have a 7. He's thinking about it long and hard. Long and hard. He wants to fold, but he doesn't know. He's thinking maybe I have a 6. Maybe another 6 shows up. I have a full house. Maybe another 7 shows up. I have a full house. But no, I end up taking this pot. He waits for his timer to go out. I think he thought I was playing a little bit rude there. A lot of times when I'm playing something rude, I always tend to kind of just... When I think somebody's playing rude, I kind of sometimes just wait for... I wait for the table to kind of run out of time, or wait for my turn to kind of run out of time here. And I'm not too sure why I added this in. Maybe it was a crazy hand. I don't remember this, to be honest with you. We're just gonna let it run through though. Maybe I thought I had something here. I think I added this in because I wanted to talk about DJ Thygo. He was very erratic with his bets. He'd always be 3-betting, 4-betting. And yeah, he had a 9-9 here. Beats an 8-jack. The board doesn't really have much. I mean, he had the 7, 8. He needed a 9 to make the straight, but he didn't end up getting it. And the guy, DJ Thygo, he had the 2 9s that the one guy needed there. So for my next hand, I have 4 ace offsuited. In position 1 here, I have 2100 in chips. I am the second place on the table. DJ Thygo is first place, but it's because he's playing sporadic and all over the place. He ends up just calling it. The flop comes out 4-2-10. He ends up going all in. I'm thinking about it here. I end up calling him. I was second pair on the board. Might have been a really dumb decision for me to do. But me and DJ Thygo agree that, you know, we're just going to check it out here. And I end up hitting 2 pair on the river. And yeah, I show my muscles off there, and you know, we take down that pot. So now we're up to 3,050. We get dealt on a big blind. Ace King of Diamonds, very strong hand. Very, very strong hand. We're hoping that we can hit like an ace or a king on the flop. Get ourselves very strong. DJ Thygo, obviously, from talking to you guys earlier about it, he's a loose cannon. He's crazy. He's nuts out there. He ends up raising it to 400. Everybody on the table folds. Actually, no, he goes all in. I end up raising it again to 900. DJ Thygo calls. He does end up calling. So the flop comes out King 4 Jack. I think we agreed again to check it out. It's just the common decency to do with somebody who's going all in on the table. You just check it all out. There's no need to play more. It's already embarrassing enough that the guy went all in, and you just want to make it very cordial. You know, we're trying to get guys out of the tournament. So now this hand was very, very unique. This is not a hand I would normally go in with, but I just felt it. I felt it the whole way through. I was thinking about it here and just threw it in. Jack 9. It's a good hand. One of my favorite hands in poker is Jack 9. But everybody starts going all in. I'm like, holy shit. I only called for, I think it was, what, 685? And I end up calling it again. So everybody, 7 King, 6 Ace, Jack 9. 6, 8, 9 comes out. I'm just hoping nobody, 10 comes out maybe, but 2 other queens come out and I end up taking that pot, Jack 9. And, yeah, Thygo ends up giving me a fist pump, and we're still in it. So now we're up to 4,915. We're definitely the chip leader. Well, we're tied with Sci-Fi for the chip leader at the moment. Sun Tzu ends up going all in. Again, this is a new guy that joined the table. I'm thinking to myself, you know, Jack Queen, very strong hand. I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do here? GJ Thygo says, like, starts talking to me saying you're gonna lose all this stuff. I'm thinking about folding now, but I end up calling it. Go with my gut. I feel like I have a fairly strong hand, and now everybody's getting mad that, you know, DJ Thygo said something he shouldn't have. I'm just sitting there like, I just want to play the game, man. Let me keep playing. But regardless, DJ Thygo ends up calling as well. He said he had something strong, so I said, okay, well, let's play then. The flop comes out, ace, queen, 5. Definitely scared about that ace. DJ Thygo bets, so I call it. I have second pair on the board. And now I just hoping that DJ Thygo checks it through. And he does. I end up taking that pot. Winner of 10,000, so I think this propelled me into first or second place in the MTT leaderboards. And we're right into our next hand, actually. This is a hand right after we get Queen, King of Diamonds. This guy's getting mad at me for calling what I called with. I just said I like the hand. People tend to get a little salty on the tables when they lose. It's just part of the game. You win some, you lose some, and I just got lucky there. Should I have called that all in? Probably not. I didn't have the strongest hand. But should have that guy gone all in with, you know, I matched with second pair on the board. So should have that guy went all in? Probably not as well. But regardless, we hit a king on the flop. We're in a good position here. DJ Thygo ends up throwing in 620, getting people to fold. But after taking multiple pops off of DJ Thygo, I end up raising him a little bit, pushing him more and more. I put it up to 1620. He ends up calling me. And he wants me to check it out. I don't want to check it out. There's nobody going out at this point. I want to just secure the pot. He ends up folding. Showed him I had the king. And we're back up at this point. So now we have 17,900. We're way ahead. We're like, I think we're 8,000 above. We're like first place right now. We're playing some of the best poker I've played. Due in part to the hands I've gotten and the flops I've gotten. I was playing some good poker. And I kind of was just getting cocky at this point. You know, I thought, you know, I'm the best on this table. Nothing's going to happen to me. You know, something crazy is going to come out on a flop with crazy cards. And, you know, that's what was my ultimate demise, was just being too comfortable with the amount of chips I had. This guy over here, he was lagging out. He ended up black boxing and coming back. But, yeah, so the flop comes out 5, 10, 9. We got a jack queen here. You know, all we need is an 8, or we need a king, and we hit her straight. I'm looking at my cards. He throws out a bet of 1,600. I end up calling it, very minute to my chip stack. He's dancing around, which I'm looking at like, what are you doing, man? Trying to get a read on this guy. A 6 comes out, and he ends up pushing. I still don't know if I beat him or not. He didn't end up showing his cards. But, in reality, I should have called. It was 2,900. It was very small to what my chip stack was, and it was a very small bet for what was on the board, and I could have beat him maybe with high card. We end up flopping. Not flopping. We end up getting pocket 3s on the small blind here. So I'm looking around. I'm just hoping, you know, maybe on the flop we can see a 3 come out. I can have a very sneaky 3 of a kind. So I end up just calling it. This guy ends up going all in here. He didn't go in all in for much. It was 1950. It was like 400 more. The guy beside him ends up going. Now it's 3 ways. It was queen, king, 6. So there's a queen out there. Multiple diamonds, multiple hearts. No 3s came out on the board, so we ended up losing that pot. And it was, we're down to 11,900 at this point now. The next cards we get are 2-2 pocket 2s. Some people may say this is one of the worst hands you can have pre-flop. It's very misleading, and I was, obviously, like I said, I was stuck in this gaze of, I was in first place, like, nobody was ahead of me. I was thinking I'm the king of the world here. Obviously getting a little blindsided. I was listening to music too. I was just having a good old time. He ends up raising it to 2,300. I got to call 1,800. Again, it was, you know, maybe 20% of my chip stack here. If a 2 shows up, I'm very much ahead. Maybe even doing better than a lot of other hands. Unless another 3 of a kind shows up. They end up all going all in. So this is $2 grand just out of my pocket for nothing, right? I ended up calling. He ends up going all in. I wasn't in position. I shouldn't have called that. But nonetheless, I ended up folding. A little mad about it, but I didn't take it out on anybody on the table. Comes out, he had 5-5, so he would have been beating me. And yeah, nothing came out, and I'm glad I folded that. I'm glad I didn't fall into the bait. I believe this is one of our last hands here. We get a queen jack. Now we're very much down. We're near the bottom of the chip stack of this table. These last 3 hands really kind of crippled my bank account, and it just shows how you can go from being in first place to being almost near the end of it. I've seen a lot of guys calling with queen jack throughout this tournament on crazy bets, and they've been winning. It's not a crazy hand to call. It's 2 very high cards. There's straight potential on both sides. He goes all in. I end up going all in as well. Stacy here, I believe she either I think she calls, actually. Does she call? Yeah, she ends up... Yeah. If I remember correctly, she does end up calling. Now it's a 3-way pot. I'm looking around to see what everybody has. Definitely not the strongest. We got ace jack, 10 queen, queen jack. So I need a queen here to win. Somebody hit their king. Nobody hit their king, so I needed a queen to win this outright. And she won off of high card. Unfortunate how, you know, that came to be, how I ended up losing. But overall, I had a fun little tournament. Thank you everybody for coming out and watching these videos. I really appreciate it. If you did end up enjoying the video, remember to like the video, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye now.